So now once we are done with task 1, task 2, it's time to reach to task 3. Let me take you to task 3. This is task 2, then comes task 3 for us. Task 3 is of 34 marks. Let us first read the task. The marketing department has recently undertaken a client survey to assist with future strategic planning, but the results are inconclusive. So note down the word inconclusive. The first thing, what has happened is the marketing department, they have gone for a surveys from the clients so that they can decide upon the future plans, how the company should serve its clients better. But the results got inconclusive, means they could not get a clear picture. Inconclusive means it is not making you reach any conclusion. The clients in total, they are not saying, okay, 90% clients saying it's good, then it is conclusive. When 90% clients say your cloud service is bad, then also it is conclusive. But meaning inconclusive means you are not sure as to if the clients are happy with you or not happy with you. The survey was discussed at the latest board meeting, where it is generally agreed that the stakeholders need to be consulted and their conflicting demands need to be considered when devising NCTech's next strategic plan. Now, this complete survey, it was taken to the board meeting and the discussion happened there. In the meeting, everybody agreed that we should consult stakeholders so that whenever we are planning any strategic plan or we are doing something big to grow in the future, then at least all the stakeholders and their demands must be considered, and whatever possible, let us try to serve their demands. Following the board meeting, the commercial director discussed the matter with you and asked you to consider this further and report back to him. Means the commercial director now is asking you to prepare a report for him. A. Prepare a report for the commercial director which evaluates the various stakeholders who may influence strategic planning at NCTech and considers how they may have conflicting demands on NCTech. The questions requirement is quite tricky, so don't take it very lightly. Professional skill marks are available for evaluation by appraising the influence stakeholders have over strategic planning. Let me copy the complete requirement, take it to our answer sheet. First, we will break down the requirement. This is the question, okay? Prepare a report for the commercial director. What needs to be prepared? What needs to be prepared? A report. That means report format must be used. That's the first thing. For whom you need to prepare the report? For whom are you required to prepare the report? The report. For whom you have to prepare the report? For the commercial director. For the commercial director. What should be the contents of the report? Evaluation of various stakeholders who may influence your strategic plan. Right? Evaluation of various stakeholders who may influence your strategic planning. There is one more requirement. How they may have conflicting demands. You have to analyze two things plus how they may have conflicting demands. You have to write the report covering two things. One, you have to evaluate various stakeholders. Evaluation of various stakeholders who will influence your planning. That means specifically the stakeholders in case of NCTech. Do not give general stakeholders. Who can influence your strategic planning? Can employees impact or influence your strategic plan? Not really. Your employees are not that powerful still. They cannot refuse, but if they do not work efficiently, they can create problem. Okay? So the plan can get influenced because of employees? Partially, to a small extent. Can the government impact your strategic plan? Not really. In NCTech's case, you want to serve your clients better. if you want to make a strategic plan, one of the stakeholders which every business deals with is the regulatory bodies. Can the regulatory bodies influence your strategic plan? Only to a very little extent. You have to make a plan which is legal and as per the regulatory framework. Correct? What else? Can the NGOs impact your strategic plan? No, to a very little extent. Can the social social workers who want to protect the environment, can they impact your strategic plan? Not really. That means you have to discuss about the stakeholders in context to NC Tech, because the question specifically asked about the stakeholders who can influence the planning of NC Tech. That is part 1. And number 2, you have to talk about their conflicting demands on NC Tech. How their demands can be conflicting? Employees, because employees are directly related to it. However, they cannot refuse to your idea, they cannot refuse to your plan, but their confidence in the plan is needed, because if they don't work willfully, don't work as per their complete productivity, they will ruin the plan. The plan will not get successful until your employees are ready. So we will cover employees here because they are critical. Although they do not have the power to refuse to you, but still they can impact your decisions. They can impact the outcome of the decision. Now, what can be the conflicting demands? The shareholders will ask for bigger profits. Bigger profits can be attained by cutting costs. When you try to cut costs, you have to cut employee salaries. This will not be agreeable for the employees. That means the conflicting demands of stakeholders here will be: shareholders will ask for more return, employees will ask for better salaries. This is conflicting demand. Okay, so we have to talk about both things here. One, we have to talk about the stakeholders who can influence this planning, not general stakeholders. Only those stakeholders who can influence the planning of NC Tech, and plus their conflicting demands. Okay, this is what we have to do. This is a 14 marker question. So if we cover 4 stakeholders or 5 stakeholders, that's good enough. What are the professional skill marks for? For evaluation by appraising the influence stakeholders have over strategic planning. That means we will have to discuss the influence which these stakeholders will have. That is, you will get professional marks for this only. Okay, so note down first 3 points so that you should remember what we are supposed to write. We have to write a report. Addressing whom? Addressing the commercial director. What should be the contents of the report? You have to evaluate various stakeholders who can influence strategic planning and who may have what is their conflicting demands. Now, before we go ahead to answering this, we should go to the exhibit which talks about this survey. You remember here exhibit 4 talked about details of board discussion around the recent client survey. That means exhibit 4 is going to help us for this survey. Marketing director says, our clients appear to be generally happy with this. See, don't copy this because it's a conversation between some parties in a board meeting. This is not completely a fact-based exhibit. So such exhibits I would never prefer to copy completely and take to the word processor and take the relevant extracts of it from there. I will directly copy only the relevant parts and take to the answer sheet. Marketing director. Our clients appear to be generally happy with the service we currently provide, evidenced from a recent client survey undertaken by my department, and they are not demanding anything new from us. Now I find this conflicting because the survey went inconclusive. Do you remember this? The survey was inconclusive. So the marketing director saying that the clients are not demanding anything new from us, that seems to be doubtful. I doubt that. Let us underline this because this claim completely doesn't seem to be correct. Okay. Our client survey, they are quite happy and they are not demanding anything from us. CEO. What does the CEO reply to the marketing director? It is always good to see that the clients appreciate what we do, and I hope the recent security breach does not change that opinion. However, we are not seeing any significant business growth, and the increased cost of providing our service means that we are becoming less profitable. We could see less profitability, increasing costs, and business not growing. NC Tech is suffering and struggling with these. And this is what the CEO is highlighting. We are not seeing any business growth. The costs are increasing, and because of that, we are becoming less profitable. We need to do something to improve our performance before the shareholders start to raise concerns. At least the CEO is worried. If we are not growing, we should do something to grow before the shareholders come and ask you, are you all not interested in the growth of the business? Before they question, it's better we do something to improve our performance. So the CEO is inclined in performance improvement. Now, what does the commercial director say? We will need to consult with a number of influential shareholders before we make any fundamental changes to our business model or move in a different strategic direction. Very important point is being covered by the commercial director. He is saying, to improve the business performance, we need to make some changes to our business model, or we need to take a different direction. And before we take that, we should consult influential stakeholders, at least the stakeholders who carry significant influence over the business. He's absolutely right here. What does the operations director reply to it? I agree. The current IS infrastructure is complex and difficult to manage on a daily basis. Developing into a PaaS or a SaaS may look straightforward on paper, but the resourcing, technological and security issues would be very significant and costly. Oh, they are now trying to enter into PaaS or SaaS? Okay. I'm not saying it can't be done, but we shouldn't rush into any major decision without fully appraising the impact on our current business operations over the short to medium term. Okay, the operations director will have to lead this if the company decides to enter into PaaS or SaaS. He will have to see the operations. And what he is right now trying to tell is, even with IS, what they are currently offering, even that is complex and difficult to manage. The operations director is saying this. It is complex and difficult to manage on daily basis. And if we enter into PaaS or SaaS, his responsibility is going to increase. My God. So he is more worried that currently also we are struggling with managing things. And if we enter into PaaS or SaaS, more efforts, more planning, and the possible impact can be bigger than what we are thinking. Okay. Taken, that feedback taken. Next, finance director. From a purely financial perspective, I'm afraid that there are limited funds available to invest in the business. Should we want to further develop our current business model or attempt something new? So as of now, a new information, we have limited funds available to invest in the business. That is critical for us to know. They do not have too much funds as of now. We also knew that they are not growing well. The profit percentage is going down. Definitely they will have lack of funds. That means here they are planning to ask for investment also from the stakeholders, the shareholders. And when you ask for further investment, your case should be very strong to justify why you need money and why should it be considered that the money invested would bring good returns for you. Okay, well said. So we have underlined this. What has the chair said? I know that our institutional shareholders always want to see a higher return on their investment and they expect better share price performance, particularly as things appear to have deteriorated recently. However, it is also vital that we consider the conflicting demands from different influential stakeholder groups before deciding on our next strategy. So, what he is saying is, you have institutional shareholders. Please underline this. They are giving a detail of one of your stakeholders. You have institutional shareholders here. That means your shareholders are financial institutions, Banks, maybe HSBC, HDFC, Barclays, they are financial institutions and they are your shareholders. So these institutional shareholders have always looked for higher return on their investment. They are expecting better share price. So anyways, everybody will expect a better share price. Institutional shareholders become more powerful because their investment is stronger as compared to others. They have a louder voice as compared to an individual small shareholder. So here what they're trying to say is we should listen to their demands before we decide on any strategy. So here the importance of one of the stakeholders is being highlighted. Write down one of your stakeholders is institutional shareholder. Okay, one is institutional shareholder. Then next, the CEO. What is he trying to say? One way that we could engage with and become more responsive to our different stakeholders is by adopting an integrated reporting framework. Okay, they want an integrated reporting system to be adopted. That means the question related to integrated reporting can be expected. An integrated report explores how value is created. Perfect. This helps improve communication as it covers a number of key areas of business performance called capitals. So we see 6 capitals under integrated report, which are of interest to different stakeholders group. So here he has talked about integrated reporting and specifically the 6 capitals which he want to cover here. That let us show them we should adopt integrated reporting and let us show these stakeholders that how the business is going to create value across all these capitals. The marketing director says, I have experience of integrated reporting in my last job. So I would be happy to take the lead on this, particularly as my team are in regular contact with a wide range of NC Tech stakeholders. Marketing director wants to take a lead on the integrated reporting part. He's also having that experience. So it should not be a trouble that how integrated reporting should be done because you have someone who has experience on this. Now the chair. Thank you. That would be most helpful. We look forward to your presentation on integrated reporting at the next board meeting. Okay, so presentation means now the PPT slides must relate to these integrated reporting related concepts only. Okay, so without moving on to this, let's get back to the requirement, the task. Here is the task. Okay, so okay, here we are here and we have taken the question till here. Okay. Now, let's start writing the answer to it. Let's start preparing the report. Now, the first thing to prepare a report is following the report format. My answer will begin from here. This is the answer. So what is the report format? You need to write to whom are you writing the report, from whom is the report coming from. Give a small subject line for the report. But isn't this looking like a letter or an email? So you can give a heading of simple report also. Okay, give a simple report. Report about what? Report about or report on the influence of stakeholders of NC Tech. Just give a small title. This is a title. So subject is not needed because the title will serve that purpose of telling what exactly you are going to cover in the report. Then you should have an introduction body, the introduction part, then the main body, then the concluding statement. So in the introduction, just tell what is the report going to serve as. The report will portray the evaluation of stakeholders who have major influence in the planning process of NC Tech. Further, the conflicting demands of all the stakeholders is also discussed in the report. Okay, this is how you will write the introduction. Now let us come to the main body. Now we will discuss around 2-3 areas here. Number 1, NC Tech's stakeholders. Usually for any business, there are many stakeholders, but specifically we have to write in terms of NCTEC's stakeholders. We had underlined institutional stakeholders here, institutional investors. Institutional investors were number one stakeholders. Number two, we saw employees. However, they do not have that power of refusing to work, but still keeping them happy is really essential. Three, your clients, your customers, they are the most important stakeholders for you. This is a 14 marker question. We'll go ahead with giving details on 4 or 5 stakeholders. Then comes who are another stakeholders, maybe the founders. Okay, and fifth, let us take the government or the regulatory bodies. Okay, these are the stakeholders of the business. Now, what content will you write in them? Remember, we have to check, we have to evaluate which stakeholder carries significant influence. Can we refer to Mendelow's stakeholder mapping here? Yes, you can. You can refer to Mendelow's stakeholder mapping terminologies here. You can use this. Now, how do we use that? Out of all these stakeholders, whom should be informed, whom should be kept satisfied, whom you should not bother about? These are the terminologies which the examiner will look for. First, talking about the institutional investors, your answer should talk about their influence. How much influence they hold on the management or the strategic plans of NCTEC. How much influence do they carry? Ideally, they have significant influence. Why do they have significant influence? Because an institutional shareholder has more power when it considers the stake invested in the company. Right? That's the first thing. So, when you say influence, yes, they have significant influence. Do not talk in terms of significant influence being the accounting term. We are not talking about the accounting perspective here. We are simply saying, being institutional investors, they have significant say in the decision making of a business. However, what are they concerned with? They are concerned with the increase in share price or their wealth. That means, be it institutional shareholders, be it the normal shareholders, they are majorly concerned with what? Increasing their wealth. So, we need to clearly mention is the primary objective or demand of institutional investors. Okay. So, what are you trying to say here? Number one, they do carry significant influence, but on the same side, they want an increase in the share price or the wealth for which they have done the investment. Right. So, what are we trying to say? That they do have an interest in the business, but majorly they want to increase the share price. That means, ideally, they should not be a source of objection on the strategic plan or turnaround of NCTEC. So, if NCTEC plans that we need to introduce something critical to grow in the market, then ideally institutional investors should not be a roadblock. So, give more explanation on this, but discuss what we have written here. Around this only, elaborate your discussion. Then comes employees. So, we had highlighted earlier also, employees do not carry that influence that they will refuse that we are not aligned with your plan. They do not have that power. So, for their influence, they do carry importance, but they do not have that influence to reject any plan finalized by the management. They do not have that influence. However, keeping them informed in order to get their to get their full support is must for any strategy to be successful. That means for any strategy to become successful, you need the support of your employees. Even if they cannot reject any of the plans, strategic plan, which is finalized by the management, still they should be informed well. They should be motivated. They should be informed, and they should be, what should I say, promoted. They should be mentally prepared that their contribution to the successful implementation of the strategic plan is extremely essential. Okay, making them realize their importance is much needed. On clients, now what do you say? The most important backbone of the business. Tell their importance. That means you need to talk about the importance of clients. Okay, we missed to write here the conflicting demands of employees. Do mention, but they can have conflicting demands from the demands of the institutional or other shareholders. What can be the conflicting demands? They can seek increase in salaries, increase in remuneration. On the other hand, the investors will look for higher profit. To attain higher profit, the costs of the company must be controlled. So talk about expectation of higher remuneration versus the expectation of investors. Expectation of investors for higher returns. So just do write this, what I was speaking about. That means the employees will always expect a higher remuneration if there is a difficult plan to achieve, or even if it is not difficult, they look for their growth, monetary growth. On the other side, the investor always looks for higher return on their shares or higher return from the investment done. Higher return comes with reduced cost, and reduced cost means remuneration needs to be controlled. So these are some of the words, these are some of the sentences which you need to write. Now, clients, importance of clients is utmost for NC Tech. So clients are the most important. Can I say they are the key players? So the examiner will look for this word, key players, in this Mendelow's stakeholder mapping. Now your clients are your key players. You need to keep them always happy, always satisfied. Keep them satisfied. Why keeping them satisfied is important? They are the main pillars who are making your business grow. You need to give them best services. Can they influence your plans? Can they influence or change your plans? To some extent, yes. How? What strategic plan you have to follow? This comes from the client only, right? That's the main thing, no? So that means they can influence your decisions. Yes, they can. Because whatever strategic plan you are going to make, that depends upon the client's requirements. That means the direction of the company, direction of NC Tech is derived from the choices or preferences of the clients. That means they are influencing the main strategy of NC Tech. This is the influence they carry. So they must be kept happy. A happy customer, a happy client will always give you good business. Now conflicting demands. On conflicting demands also write something here. What conflicting demand can you see here? Their demand can be increasing the services, while the demands of shareholders or the employees may restrict to carrying on with the current system. Did you see what the other managers, operations manager was saying, marketing manager was saying? That the clients are not demanding anything. You can mention it here also. As mentioned by the marketing director, that the clients do not expect any more from us. It creates a doubt that the clients are not expected to ask for better services in the future or may demand SaaS or PaaS services. That means in the future, if they demand SaaS or PaaS services, then this company will have to give them, because these are the key players for a company. They need to be kept satisfied. In that case, the objectives, their demands will coincide with the demands of the employees. The employees as well as the operation director, they are just feeling anyways on the daily routine, we are troubled with handling even the IS. Even that is getting difficult to manage on a routine affair, on a routine basis. Difficult to manage. So for the employees, this expectation of entering into SaaS or PaaS can become conflicting to achieve, right? So here you will have to mention, when the operations director clearly mentioned that IaaS is difficult to manage on a routine basis, if the client's expectation goes to SaaS or PaaS, it can create conflicts and lack of support from the employees. So there is a conflict of demands. Okay. Now the founders. Who are the three founders? The software engineers. Now these founders, will you think they carry any intent to stop any strategic plan of NC Tech? Not really. However, they have more influence in the planning, strategic planning of NC Tech. Why? Mention that reason also, because they are holding key positions in NC Tech. They are involved in the day-to-day decision making of NC Tech. That means they have that influence. Now, what is their expectation? What is their demand? Their demand also is wealth generation, making the company earn more. That is their demand. Talk about their demand. So, is this likely to go against any decision? No, they are also likely to support any strategic plan created for the growth and success of NC Tech. Whatever I am saying, you have to write that. Okay. And now the fifth stakeholder is the government or the regulatory body. What do you say about the government or the regulatory body? The government and the regulatory body, they do influence, but at a limited level. Only on the regulatory part, they do influence, but only on a limited level till NC Tech abides by the regulations applicable in which country was it? Which country was this company working? This country is Farland. Is this Farland or I am missing the word? It's Farland. Okay. Applicable in Farland. Okay. So it is only at a limited level that whatever regulations are to be followed in Farland, NC Tech takes care of it, follows it. Apart from that, none of the violations are done by NC Tech in respect of the strategic plan, new strategic planning or turnaround which it is going to prepare for. So none of the violations take place. To that extent only the government or the regulatory bodies want to influence this decision. Then what is their demand? Their demand doesn't has no conflict with other demands of the other stakeholders, because their demand rests on abiding by the law plus paying taxes on time. Write that. So very less likely that the demands of the government or the regulatory bodies will coincide or will have a conflict with the demands of other stakeholders, as the government or the regulatory bodies are simply interested in abiding by the laws, following the laws and rules of the country, plus paying taxes in time. So very less likely that their demands will conflict with the demands of other stakeholders. After you are done with this, write a concluding statement. Give a conclusion. What is the conclusion? You are concluding that each stakeholder is important. However, their importance, relative importance, can differ from each other. Their demands at times can coincide with the demands of each other, but NCTech must focus to prioritize and address the conflicting demands of all the stakeholders to the extent possible. Okay, if you want to listen again to what I am saying, just rewind back the video by 10-20 seconds and listen to what I am saying to write in conclusion. Okay, so till here we are done with part number, one second, part number 1A. So part number A is done for us here. Now we need to move ahead to part number 2. At the same board meeting, the CEO proposed that one way to reconcile the various demands of stakeholders was for NCTech to adopt the integrated reporting framework. The marketing director agreed to present his recommendations. We saw that in the exhibit also, that the marketing director took an initiative that I have a knowledge of preparing the integrated report. Now he has to present his recommendations. That means you need to prepare presentation slides. As he needs to convince several board members of the merits of integrated report, he has asked for your assistance in preparing the presentation. You have to prepare 2 slides, you have to give the notes for it, and you need to prepare this presentation slide to be presented to the board. What should be the content of your slides? Explain the main capitals that should be included in an integrated report for use by NCTech's stakeholders, and advice on the business benefits to NCTech of adopting integrated reporting. Now, professional marks will be given for communication, for clarifying and simplifying the integrated report using an appropriate professional tone. As a practice, I'll copy this, I'll take this to the answer. Okay, the answer here has to be on these slides. Okay, so clearly you have been given these slides to write your points here, and then the notes you can give below it. Notes are here. There is the slide 1 note, slide 2 speaker note. Okay, so notes are here. So that means I cannot copy the question now here. Okay, we'll keep it open and we'll do this. The answer directly we'll write here. Okay. Okay, let's do this part after a 5 minutes break. Now, when you are creating the answer to these presentation slides part, most of the students have this confusion how to present it. Means what should be written under the slide and what should be written in the notes. I'll say the slides should consist of only the bullet points, main headings, or the way I say keywords. And the notes should have more details. As in, what are you going to talk about if you are the speaker and you are presenting these slides to the board members? That should be there under the speaker notes. Now let us go back to the requirement. 1. You need to explain the main capitals that should be included in an integrated report for use by NCTech stakeholders. Most important thing, we have to talk about the capitals. We have 6 capitals under integrated reporting. Now, should I talk about these capitals generally or I need to talk in terms of NCTech? The answer is connect these capitals with NCTech's situation. That means when we talk about the financial capital, then NCTech's finances must be referred to. When we talk about human capital, then NCTech's workforce must be referred to. We need to connect these capitals with NCTech's case, right? So let's begin Slide 1. It said you have to write about the capitals involved in integrated reporting. So, capitals included under the integrated reporting framework. Okay. What all capitals are there? 1, there is financial capital. Then 2, human capital. 3, what was that? The plant and machinery, manufactured capital. Manufactured capital. Then nature, natural capital. Then social capital. 5th, social capital. And last, what was it? Financial, human, manufactured, natural, social, and the capital related to the intellect of the employees and the people, intellectual capital. Okay, all 6 capitals are here. So you have written about the details of the capitals. Now in the speaker note, try to give explanation of these. When we say, let me copy them again. And then in the speaker note, we'll give details related to it. In the financial capital, talk in terms of NCTEC's finances. So do you remember the finance director said that because they do not have funds now, they will have to borrow new funds if any strategic plan is created and funds are needed for expansion? You remember that? So here, explain what financial capital covers. First, explain what financial capital covers. It covers the amount of capital which is available with the business, funds which are available with the business to convert its inputs into output or to provide services in its operations. That's the basic definition of financial capital under integrated reporting. Now talk about NCTEC's case. What did the finance director say? Finance director, as per the finance director, NCTEC would need funds if a new strategy is adopted to improve or enhance the performance of NCTEC. Okay, improve the performance of NCTEC or any expansion is finalized. Now these, when you are saying integrated reporting, you need to report about the financial capital, the details of the funds which are available, plus the details of funds which would be needed. These must be given in the integrated report. Funds needed as well as whatever funds you have, give the details of both in the integrated report. Write that also. Now let's come to human capital. What is human capital? First give that. What is human capital? You need to explain that in the first place. Means the experience, the skill set of the people working in NCTEC who are there to support and give services to the clients. This is human capital. Now for NCTEC, what is it? You remember we had talked about the technical expertise guys who are needed. That means technically experienced and skillful workforce is needed in case of NCTEC. So that is the first thing. Number 2, there was a talent program. What was that program? Talent management program. Talent management program. Talk about the talent management program also in the integrated report. Talent management programs details must also be provided in the integrated report to tell the stakeholders about the relevance of human capital and how the company is trying to improve the human capital of the business. Okay, or how the company's management is trying to improve or retain the talent of the company. Write that. Now, next comes manufactured capital. Again, define what is manufactured capital. Manufactured will comprise of the assets, the infrastructure which is used to create and convert input into output. For NC Tech, your manufactured capital will comprise of the assets which are used to provide services to the client. Now for NC Tech, what is their manufactured capital must include what type of machinery and what type of infrastructure? Will they use any machinery to provide cloud services to the client? No, this is an IT company. That means information technology infrastructure. Technology infrastructure is used by NC Tech for carrying its business. Okay, information technology infrastructure will be required or is continuously required. And now if any improvement is needed or the details of any information technology infrastructure must be given in the integrated report. Details about the information technology infrastructure held by NC Tech. This detail you have to give in the integrated report. What about the natural capital? Again, define what is natural capital. When you are providing services, you are taking something from the nature. With natural capital, every business must give details of how that business is using the nature and what is it impacting, what impact is it bringing on the nature with its operations. So here, what should be done? NC Tech should tell about its impact of its operations on the nature. How the nature is getting impacted because NC Tech is operating. What type of impact will it give? It is using energy. The electricity is a type of energy. To process the infrastructure, IT infrastructure, you need energy. That means NC Tech, by using energy, must give details of how it is restoring the energy used so that it does not bring any permanent damage or it is using the energy in a sustainable manner. So that detail must be provided by NC Tech in the integrated report. How it is using the energy in a sustainable manner. Okay, then comes your social capital. Again, define social capital. Social capital will include all the groups with which any company operates. It can be the schools, it can be the colleges, it can be the groups with which a company operates, and it is the social capital means the relationship in the society which an entity uses to perform its operations. Now with NC Tech, what is the social capital here? It has to deliver services to its clients. Clients are also society for them, providing an option of data storage to clients at an affordable price, serving clients with high quality services is contributing to the social capital. So this detail also should be given in the integrated report. And then the last one, intellectual capital. Define intellectual capital. The business may have intellect, intelligence, experience of its employees, consumer data, the experience of its own projects. These create intangible assets, goodwill, reputation for a business, which gives them competitive advantage over others. This is how you define intellectual capital. Who will NC Tech's case relate to it? Now, NC Tech's reputation with its client has been continuously very good because it has grown very fast in the previous 10 years or 5 years, right? The customer satisfaction ratings are also great. It has become very quickly, it has become a major player in the country. This clearly shows the intellectual capital and the goodwill and reputation created by NC Tech. The details of customer satisfaction, the details of the experience which they have applied in giving good services to the client must be detailed in the integrated report. Okay, so in the notes here, you will have to give a lot of detail because this slide only contains the name of the capitals. Only the names are given. So consider yourself to be the speaker in the meeting. You have to explain everything to the people who are sitting in the meeting. You have to tell them what will you write in the natural capital section of the integrated report, what will you write under social capital, everything you will have to tell them, and whatever you want to tell them, that is a speaker note. Okay, now let us come to the second slide. You have to advise on the business benefits to NC-Tech of adopting integrated reporting. So this is a very simple question. You have to tell the benefits of using integrated reporting. What benefits will come to NC-Tech? So benefits of integrated reporting for NC-Tech. What benefits do you see? One, we can say, okay, when we talk about too many capitals, it increases the connectivity between different aspects of a business. A business has to keep its social capital along with the financial capital, along with the manufactured capital. That means here, the integrated report, by using the integrated report, it can show connectivity between different, or it can establish relationships or connectivity between different capitals. Okay, in the speaker note, explain this point, that all the capitals are taken together by a business. In the integrated report itself, it is being highlighted that a business must do its part on all the different categories of the capital, right? So that is one thing. Another benefit which by using integrated report NC-Tech will have, it will increase its reliability. How? When the shareholders have a doubt on your plans, integrated report or sustainability report always build that confidence. How that confidence can be built? When you are showcasing that there are 6 different types of capitals and we are taking care of all the capitals, that increases the reliability of stakeholders in your business. Reliability of stakeholders, or let's write enhancing reliability of stakeholders in NC-Tech's business. Okay, it enhances the reliability. That's the second point. Another thing which we can say is, it is always futuristic. Future belongs to sustainability reporting, integrated reporting. When we say that a company is using integrated report to produce its plan of action with the stakeholders, that means it is not focusing only on numbers. It is giving its contribution to the nature. It is giving its comments upon the social capital of the business. That means it is hitting each and every aspect within which the business functions. Whatever I'm saying, now this is the explanation of being futuristic, giving a futuristic outlook to the business. Detail it, okay, and discuss it. Then fourth point, we'll write 5 points only. Then what benefits will NCT get? Okay, let's make it bringing a complete picture of the business. So integrated report will bring a complete picture of the business in terms of how all aspects of the capitals are taken care of by the business, how the management or how the people responsible for taking care of the strategic performance of NC-Tech, how they are taking care or how they are completing their duty in respect to other capitals. And when we say integrated report, always talk about value creation. What type of value creation they are doing? Value being created to all types of capitals. What type of value is being created? That also brings a lot of confidence, a lot of trust in the minds of the investor, and gives a different direction to the business. Okay, so this is very generic question where you have to tell the benefits of the integrated report. But again, I'll focus. Speaker notes must include the detailing on these. Slides must be as concise as possible. Do not write too much in these slides. Slides must have only bullets. Bullets must have some keywords, and the explanation to the keywords related to the topic must be given under the speaker note. Okay, now let's just cross check if the requirement has been catered to. Communication was to be shown, that we have done. Simplify the integrated report using an appropriate professional tone that is easily understood. Okay, so the point was you have to use professional tone but not very tough words. So anyways, we are not using very tough words. Okay, so with this we complete this paper, NC text paper, with this part, this task being done. Now it's your chance and your turn to practice more papers so that you get to know what to write, what not to write. But remember few things. Do not force models in the answers if they are not directly applicable. Number 2, when the question specifically asks about NC text case or the questions case, ensure you are linking the information in the answer. Number 3, make use of the information given in the exhibits. Ensure you are using the information from there. Do not avoid those information considering that this is given to confuse you. It has some relevance. Try to fit that relevance in any of the parts of your answer. And then at the end, when preparing presentations, ensure you are keeping the presentation slide content very concise, very brief, and the explanations as to what you will speak if you are a speaker, that should go into notes. Okay, so with this we complete this paper. Do practice it. Do remember the important points to take care of. Until the time we meet for the next session, keep on studying, keep on growing. Thank you so much and take care.